Eagly's the best bird ever.
No way can
He
an
is
eagle
best boy.
understand what you're saying.
I believe
gonna
him.
do it.
He's no ordinary eagle.
Yeah. All right, Eagly, do it.
Let's do it, Eagly.
No. Eagly.
What?
Eagly, just take the helmet. Take it.
He's able to.
Take it.
He kills white supremacists with his talons, but he can't carry a
You won't
helmet.
like her, the mean
Oh, it's
blonde
'cause he's-
one that
oh!
introduces-
The mean blonde lady won't hurt you.
Performance anxiety in front of the pretty lady.
The helmet.
Eagly, take the helmet.
Eagly, take the helmet.
Eagly's gonna be the savior of us all.
Dude, he's doing it.
Yeah.
Look, Adebayo's jumping.
Uh,
No.
No. Oh, Eagly. He's gonna drop it in the woods.
It's-
Like they're all looking like, what is he
They're
doing?
like, what the hell? Guys, welcome back to the Jersey Comic Crew. Eagly could do no wrong in my eyes, Rob. I don't know about you.
No.
I don't care if he sends the helmet to another country. He's still the best boy. But obviously, this is our breakdown, our review, our reaction to the finale of Peacemaker, Episode 8. We had a lot of stuff. It was a funny as hell episode mixed
Oh
with
my gosh.
some hard truths, some great societal issues. I thought James Gunn nailed it, Rob. It kind of had everything.
This episode had everything I wanted and so much more. Let's just focus on the beginning when Adebayo is still trying to talk to Peacemaker, trying to make amends, and it's just a concussion, and it's just an orchestra of fart jokes. Just Peacemaker, Vigilante. Every time she's trying to talk, hysterical. And the fact that Vigilante doesn't get it, that he's doing this to shut her up, was even best. He's like, wait, why are we getting serious here? I'm with my first best friend and my fifth best friend. We just killed some neo-Nazis, and we're making fart jokes. Like, this is a fantastic day. Sets the tone for an amazing episode, and, like, this whole ride, it's full of action, full of comedy, and a great, like, balance between them. I can't wait for season 2, which did get confirmed, by the way. I love this episode, and I love the show.
Yeah, it was great. I love that they literally cliffhangered the entire series to this point, right?
Yeah.
It ended, and it started right back up where she's trying to apologize and how bad she feels. Which, again, I think that's what we talked about. That is kind of Adebayo's superpower, right? Her empathy, her understanding, her ability to get close to people, right? She's not going to be the warrior that she is, that everyone else is. The kind of Black Widow style that Harcourt is, the badass gun-toting Captain America that Peacemaker is. But, she has a skill that none of them else have, and that is empathy and able to understand different types of people. Yeah. And I thought that was great. I thought the whole scene, like the one that we just watched, was great, where Eagly and, trying to get this ridiculous plan with 4 to 5 people and, 1,000 of these butterfly cops and everything. So that was great. And obviously the fight scene. The fight scene was so badass. It was literally, to me, it felt like James Gunn was like, haha, this ain't Disney, bitches. Like, I can do whatever I want here.
Dude,
some of the moves were ridiculous.
Vigilante slicing arms, like arms are flying off. Like they're straight up, like it's different from like a regular like action movie where like people are dying, right? You see him get shot a couple times, maybe get stabbed, but like limbs are flying off, heads are flying off. Axes through the middle of the face of a couple of people and like some of the main cops that we know. The action was great, well done, and comical, right? It's a great balance between the two, and I didn't think I would get this. I think when I watch these kind of movies, when you get to certain points in the film, you kind of feel like, all right, we're going between one step and another, right? All right, we're doing a comic, and now we're going to get the high action scene, like awesomeness. And Marvel does a good job of like blurring those lines, right? And the reason I'm bringing up Marvel because this is the direct comparison. Like you can still have the comedy and action, but I think James Gunn in this movie is, in this show, specifically this main action scene, did the balance of comedy and action better than probably Marvel has done in one scene, which I thought was just a testament to him. And I mean, yes, he did work on Marvel, and he had, he has a lot of superhero shows and movies under his belt, but it shows off here.
It does 100%. And I think, Rob, one of the situations is one's very sci-fi.
Yeah.
And usually sci-fi isn't as brutal, right? It's toned down. It's lasers. It's different elemental stuff. It's a lot of spaceships and explosions, not so much blood and gore. This is way more reality-based. This is obviously also way more rated R. It's on HBO. It's not a PG-13 movie that has to, kind of connect with a mass audience of kids as well to get fandom. I love the fight scene going into the character development. One thing I really want to talk about is our MVP of the show, in my opinion, John Economos.
Economos, yes. I'm so glad you brought up the character development. Like, talking about Economos, making himself feel strong enough to go and infiltrate, right? Because there's this whole nervousness, bravery thing in question for him, because he's always the man behind the scenes. He's never been a man on the front line. So him doing infiltration, we know, is a step up. But, like, then, like, him getting questioned directly by the butterflies about the dye beard, and then essentially having an emotional breakdown to them. He's like, the human did this is why. And we see all the, like, the hurt that he's been going through throughout his whole life, and the whole team's like, oh, fuck, man, we should have never said anything.
Peacemaker's got, like, the I meme going on.
But, like at the same time, it's like, all right, you bullied him, and we get, like, that was bad, but also, like, nobody noticed, right? And he kind of, like, appreciate being bullied, appreciate being noticed by Peacemaker, knowing that the beard was not done right. And he's like, oh, maybe I should spend $3 more on L'Oreal, right? And, like, that gave him something. And then to see him at the end of this whole thing, yes, the broken ankle was fantastic. I was like, of course.
Funny.
Instantly. And, like, his bone is, like, out of the leg. And I'm like, okay. And he's still hobbling along. But what I wanted to focus on was he's back at the office, right? He's at Blackgate Penitentiary.
Yeah.
He opens his suitcase, and one of the main things is, like, the picture frame of the 11th Street Kids, of this whole group of them, right? So I'm sure we're going to see Economos again later, maybe with them or maybe with not. But it's kind of like full circle. Like, all right, you've grown as a person. You had these friends, and you're better for it, and you're happier. And it's like, all right, every guy living in a cubicle who hates himself, this is your hero, man. This is your Captain America. You go, guy. I was really happy. I don't live in a cubicle, but I empathized in case you guys are like, oh, this guy lives in a cubicle. No, I just empathized very strongly with him.
I don't know who you're yelling at, but I loved
my mom.
Who doesn't watch?
Who doesn't watch, dude? She doesn't even understand what YouTube is.
I loved it. I love that James Gunn is very good at just flipping things on its head, right?
Yeah.
It was fantastic to see him go through it. He's like, I never had a girlfriend. I thought it would, like, make me look more handsome, or, he's like, I don't know. I just kind of like those awkward decisions we all have and make at some point in our lives, right? But we all have those kind of thoughts in our head that we want to change something about ourselves, those insecurities. And to have, like, not only to have the courage to bring that all up to the front, right? And kind of tell, knowing that they're all going to hear it. But just the kind of remorse of, like, oh, man, like, this guy's such a nice guy. And then on top of that, he's always the hero, though, right? He kills the gorilla with the chainsaw. He shoots the neo-Nazis with a machine gun. And then he plants the helmet that eventually takes the barn down. So, like, he really is kind of the undertone hero of the show. And, of course, it had to comically come back around where he falls over a stupid fence and breaks his leg hilariously. And I don't know about you, Rob, but for me, one of the funniest scenes all season was Economos in the hospital where everyone's, like, half dead. Harcourt should be dead, but, like, he's half dead and he's just, like, doing the jerk-off thing to them. Like, I thought that was so funny. So I love kind of seeing his confidence build throughout the series and coming full circle.
Well, speaking of character development, I want to talk a little bit about Peacemaker and, like, his connection to the comic books, right? This show we talked about before, on air, off air, is very far from the comics, and it's like it's taking its own flavor and creating it. In the comic books, Peacemaker is troubled by visions of the people he killed, and he believes to himself like he's like a sociopath. No, sorry. He's schizophrenic and has all these other things. He thinks the souls of the people he kills are in his helmet, and he's talking to them, right? In this episode, we get this focus on, like, him talking to his dead father, right? He kills his dead father. We have that hysterical scene. He's like, I'm using my blow dart because you're a figment of my imagination. He kills him. Second, he kills him, like, we see that the helmet's there, right? So this is the beginning of the connection of, like, oh, Peacemaker, we already know, was battling with the idea of killing people. But I think now, especially season 2 and moving forward with them, it's going to evolve to, like, oh, he's going to start hearing the voices of the people he's killed. He's going to equate it to the helmet, and he's not going to be able to separate it. And it's going to add a new level of, like, mental complexity to this character that's directly from the comic book, which I thought was pretty cool that we saw that.
And I love that you mentioned that, Rob, because I wanted to bring this up, too. This is also the first time we see Peacemaker's shield used in battle, which is from the comic as well. And it made me wonder if the shield is a symbolism for he is now shielding himself from the pain, the trauma, the stuff he's starting to see in his head. Because Gunn kind of uses these things as, like, more emotional tropes down the line or character development. And I was, like, waiting for, like, is Peacemaker ever going to have the shield, or is it to Captain America? Did they not want that link? But they brought out the Peacemaker shield for the end of this, which was a great weapon used.
Oh my god, when he shot it, flipped it, and he sliced somebody's head off on it.
Ridiculous.
Amazing.
And the combos they were passing back and forth. But like that symbolism I just kept thinking about. I wonder if this later down the line is it's supposed to be like, hey, he's gonna have to shield himself off from those voices in his head, whether he thinks they're in the helmet. Who knows? It could be a modern take where his dad put them in the helmet as part of the tech to mess with him forever, where it's like he's tormenting his son until the end of time until he figures out how to stop it. So I thought that was an interesting touch as well. But yeah, Rob, we got to talk about the crux of this episode.
Yes.
Goff and the rest of the butterflies, the cow, and Peacemaker. I thought that scene, like, some of the best action I've seen all season, right? Yeah. We get the fight, we get into the trenches of whatever's left of this farm, and Goff opens up finally about the real plan. And the real plan is that they are there to help humanity survive, not to just take over people's lives, not to, infiltrate the world and take it over, but to help humanity save itself from itself. And by doing this, they need a food source. They need a cow. So first, Rob, I want to get what your take was on this finale. The human torpedo, a.k.a. the Luigi super move from Smash Brothers. Yes. All of it.
I love the Luigi move. That needs to be more of it. I thought Vigilante was going to do it. And like seeing Adebayo do it, even better.
It was great that she had no choice for the second time, right?
Yeah,
like, that was hilarious.
She was like, activate harpoon or whatever they call it. Human torpedo.
Activate human torpedo.
Boom! Right into the cow. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, that'd be great. Somebody has to have that edit.
Oh, yeah, internet, do your thing.
do your thing. You know what to do. But the conversation with Goth and Peacemaker, it's great because, like, that's how Peacemaker used to think, right? And it's like, oh my God, like this, that's what you have to do. You have to do it. They can't handle it. Peace by any means, and I'm going to move forward. And Mern's character was like, hey, we don't have the right to just impose our will on these people. And she's like, we got to take the decision out of their hands. It was just great to see Peacemaker. It was just great to see the Peacemaker we know now face essentially the Peacemaker when we were first introduced to him back in the Suicide Squad, right? So it was cool to see that in the emotional turmoil. The fight scene was great. Seeing the giant freaking cow die, I was a little sad because I was like, oh, this poor thing. He's getting tortured and he dies. I thought they maybe set him free. He got butterfly wings and fly. I don't know what was going to happen.
You thought he was going to be the Bug's Life fat
I thought so. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, maybe he can fly away. Maybe there's hope for him yet. And the whole fact that you need 3 hands to teleport it, I was like, that's such a design flaw. Everything is 2. Yeah. You know it's 2. You put
the
3.
Keys, you turn them. It's all you need.
You put 3 in there just so we can have this exposition. I'm totally fine with it though. I really think this is just me picking. You should have just had 2, and the other guy died. That's and just you and Goth. Because I didn't really care about the other guy once he got turned into a butterfly. I was like, this character, dead to me. Goff, cool. Just Goff and one other. Great. Fantastic. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I do got to tell you, at the end, seeing the Justice League show up late, hysterical. I did not expect it. And it's like, these are the members, like, in my mind, I'm like, WB wants to keep these 4. it's like Wonder Woman, check. Ezra Miller, check. Aquaman, check. Superman, we didn't see Superman's face, but we know there is a Superman. Right?
Well, yeah, it wasn't Henry Cavill or Gal Gadot there, obviously.
No, but like...
Because Henry Cavill's like 3 times that size as well.
Oh my God, he's so big now.
The guy we saw was like, who's this shrimp? Like...
Aquaman's even like, he's bigger than me now, bro. I gotta eat my surf tacos and go. But like, yeah, it's great. Like, those are the 4 we're getting. I still hope that's Henry Cavill because we have all this up in the air and we're gonna make a whole separate video about all this later. Yep. But like seeing the comedy back and forth, he's like, but you do fuck fish. It's not a joke. And he's like, fuck you, Barry.
Fuck you, Barry.
I loved it. And it's like, okay. And it's just great to know that this universe is connected with this. And like, it's a little bit more cohesive, taking, hints and pieces from Marvel. Great. But yes, the cow scene with Goth, I loved it. I love this finale. I love the climax. It was fantastic.
So I'm a little bit more of the grief eater type, as you guys know if you watch. I thought the Justice League scene was more of a trope of like, yes, these characters in this universe have been useless since day one.
Oh,
I thought that was okay. I thought that was the undercut joke of like, Zack Snyder's Justice League is absolutely useless, so we're just going to make them the butt of the joke. They're late on arrival. This isn't really hero based. It's just money based. It's a trope. like, screw this, you guys did it wrong, so we're just gonna make fun of it. I thought that was that's where I found the funny in it. Obviously the Aquaman joke has been hilarious for the last 80 years.
Yeah.
it's longer than D's nuts, you know. It's just the longest running joke ever. And I thought the Goff scene was fantastic, Rob. And again, being part of the Grief Eater, I like to hear what you thought of it, because of you're an optimist and how you think, and like, yeah, like the choice was there, and Peacemaker, like you saw it from the side of character development and optimism of Peacemaker giving us the choice to save ourselves and changing not only some of the bad things about him, but going further, right? Like, because at the end of the day, it's still bugs eating your brain out and killing you for themselves. Yeah. For me, I thought it was very much like, Jesus, this is literally our real life. Like, this is our everyday. The speech Goff makes is so compelling to argue what's going on in the real world, whether it's climate change, whether it's, you know, racism, science.
Did it have you calling for? Are you now wishing butterflies were real? Are you wishing that like they were here like to save us? Is that what you're saying?
No, like I'm not saying I wish that. I believe in hope, which is part of the reason why, you know, again, Superman's one of my, you know, my favorite fictional characters of all time. I believe without hope, you just become this cynical shell of a human being. You don't do as many things because you're hopeless, yada yada yada. As a society, we have to have hope that things are going to get better, right? That's kind of all we have when we have no control over the massive amounts of money and power that gets consumed every day. So I thought James Gunn plotted that societal course perfectly, where it's like, hey, here's the twist. The butterflies are actually here to help us because they went through it, right? The stuff about their planet, we stopped listening to science. We stopped listening to this. The climate changed. Our world died. So we came here basically as refugees. Yeah. And this is our only food source. Help, like, really, the first line is help me save the cow, right? Like, help me teleport it. We need 3 hands. And you're like, wait, why? Right? Like, the whole point is to stop this thing. And that goes into, you know, your society's doing the same thing ours did. It's not listening to science. It's taking small inconveniences of your day and making them attacks on freedom. Like, all the bullshit we deal with every single day, James Gunn put in this show perfectly at the end. That's another reason why I thought he nailed this. And then even after that, right, where Peacemaker decides Goff comes back and he's feeding Goff because Goff sees the true good person that Chris Smith is. And I love Adebayo's kind of full circle where she goes against her mother. She has the press conference. Argus gets blown up. Task Force X gets blown up. And obviously, guys, we will have a lot more of that in a later episode.
Exactly, guys. It's safe to say we love Peacemaker season 1. We love this last episode. We want to hear your thoughts and theories. So what's going to happen in season 2 of Peacemaker? Did Peacemaker make the right decision? Stay tuned. We have all those kind of videos and much more coming very, very soon.
And guys, thank you so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up, like, really helps the channel out a lot. If you're new, subscribe, turn on notifications. You don't want to miss any more of our Peacemaker talk. We are not done yet. We have a couple more episodes we got to dive into. Yeah. And if you missed anything, make sure to check it out right here on the channel. And as always, I'm Chris Heller. That's Rob Moran. We're the Jersey Comic Crew. And we'll see you next time.